Hello everyone and welcome, yes, my name is Arafire. Welcome to another episode of All Talk, No Shock, where we have just literally finished the TFCon 2024 in Baltimore, the third-party Transformers panel. And the slides have very gracefully been uploaded to TFW 2005, and as is tradition, we're going to go through some of those pictures today. Now, apologies in advance, I have got a bit of a cold, so I sound a bit throaty. And also there's some fireworks going off outside. It's nearly bonfire night, so what do you expect? Right, so there was quite a bit to go through. Let's see what we can get into. So we start off with Defense, and this appears to be a legend scale, I believe. It's very Planet X, so I want to say it's Fall to Cybertron, War for Cybertron type style, very much when you look at it. I do think it is legend scale, and I think we've seen this recently. I don't think this is the first time we have seen this. It looks nice enough. There's the back of the figure, I suppose, with his head. It's looking like early renders rather than a prototype, I would say. Nice detailing on it, but yeah, not many people are asking for it, but it's there nevertheless. Mechanical Skull Studios next. Now this was quite a nice one. Armada Demolisher. Now, this is nice. Again, it's legend scale, and I'm not the biggest legend scale collector, but that is going to be nice to see. Okay, it's very, very early in development, but who's doing Demolisher nowadays? I mean, a few Armada figures are turning up, mostly through Fans Hobby, so the fact we got another company giving it a go, and if you're a Legends collector and an Armada fan, then this is going to be one for you. As I say, very early days, but very nice to see the character as well, and there it is alongside a Starscream already released. Now this Starscream again, I'm not too au fait with that head sculpt, and I remember saying that before. I don't get what that head sculpt's supposed to be. It's the Armada Starscream mould, but it looks like a Guyver head sculpt. So there's a more traditional Starscream with, I guess, the Minicon. Looks very, very small, but if being legend scale, it would be. New Age up next. And we got there Megatron. Now I've got to get my legend scale right. Is this Armageddon? Is that the name of it? Haven't we already seen this before? I'm sure we have. It's a mini MP36, which is what New Age are good for. I feel like they've already released it. Certainly Magic Square have already released their Megatron. I feel New Age must have done. But I lose track of some of their releases. It looks very, very nice. It is a mini MP36. I'm sure it's going to be just as hell to transform into that gun mode. And of course, a gun, not a tank. But it looks very nice, very glossy paint as well. It just looks like a shrunk down MP36. They've done that so well. Nice ab crunch. Nice to have that included. It's a very good looking figure, and that's a great pose for what is going to be ending Ironhide's life. If I was a Legends collector, I'd be all over this. I think New Age, I've said time and time again, New Age would be the company that I would go to, because I just think their paint jobs, their application just looks so good. And a toy deco. Oh, I do wish I got this in the MP scale. I think this looks so glossy, so nice. Yeah, there's some very nice ones to choose from there. And a nice few Megatrons out on the market. Now, staying with New Age, they have a Warpath that's coming out. Very stumpy gun for chess mode, for robot mode, but I imagine it extracts and does not. It's fine. He's a very stocky little red guy, as is Warpath. I don't feel Warpath has been nailed by anyone, MP scale or otherwise yet. But yeah, I like that blast effect though, coming out of the chest, that faux explosion. That's cool. That's very nice. That would be how I would display it, if I'm honest. And also Bomber. That's their gears. Yeah, fine. We got a few gears at the moment, haven't we? With Fans Toys and the Hasbro version that's out. That's quite well received. So now we've got a Legends one as well. And of course, you can't have gears without Swerve. Beaufort. Where do they get these names from? But yeah, it's very, very small, very, very dinky. I recently picked up this for the MP scale with Fans Toys. And a few more slides of Oddball in action. And alongside some of the other releases as well. Icon 3D Labs, they've been up before for some of their accessories that they do, 3D printed stuff, and this is, again, as it says, Legend scale. So we have some nice chairs, thrones, and you can see the Grimlock insignia. So it's a Grimlock throne. It's a very square throne. You know, it's not exactly a Game of Thrones throne, if you see what I mean. It says Legend Scale, but that definitely looks bigger than Legend Scale in the back. Maybe there's something bigger to come. But there it is for what I believe is Magic Square, if I know my Dinobot Legend figures, which I don't. But yeah, it does say available first, so I don't know. Maybe they are doing a bigger scale, an MP scale. Maybe to go with the Studio Series 86 releases. That would be nice. And you can store the throne on the back, store the sword on the back of the throne, I should say. Can't store a throne, can you? Yeah, that's pretty cool. I did enjoy seeing this. So we have some Arc Command Center. Now, yeah, this is going to be for where the Arc crashes. Yes, it would be. It's from the pilot episode, and of course the control lever that Optimus tries to pull back on before they crash. It is fairly basic. It's fairly square and a few nice panels, but we're getting more of this stuff now. You have a bit of Autobot City stuff lying around, and I think there were some prototypes of it at TFCon in Baltimore, where you have the missile launcher from the 86 movie. So settings, play sets are much more of a thing now than they ever were. And I was never one for them, but it's hard to say no when you see things like this. And then we move on to Iron Factory. So this is finishing off their Lio Kaiser. I've been keeping an eye on the set, but I don't really follow Lio Kaiser as a general rule. It's not a character that appeals too much to me, although I do like how this combiner is shaping up, and this is how their final figure, I want to say it's their final figure, is being released. It turns into an attack helicopter. I don't know the character. I know it comes with a Cobra accessory, but I don't know the lore behind it. As I say, Lio Kaiser was not one that I particularly followed. But there is the attack helicopter going on. It's nice. It's small. It's Legend Scale, of course. And there is the combiner. I do like that combiner. I like the stockiness, the big thick thighs, the thicker legs. There's a real beefy combiner to it. If this was in a bigger scale, I could be tempted. And of course, it's a 6-team set, so there's a bit more to do with proportions. But I think this is the last one that comes out. And as they said on the stream here, you can have a few more of the accessories on the go to really pad it out. And that's very busy on the back. It's got a whole jet mode on the back. Why? You're never going to see it. But yeah, it's nice enough. That's a staff that can break up into like a ball and chain. And then this thing. Now, again, this is where the stream I was watching cut out. So I must remember what this was. But I feel like we've seen this before. Is this supposed to be like we had with the Hasbro reveals recently? The Fallen reveal and the Megatron tank, or Megatronus tank. It looks great. It looks like it belongs in Dead or Alive than anything else. Big fiery tank. Love how it looks. Love that black that's used on it as well. But I don't really know what this is. I must have to look into it. And again, it's Legend Scale. It's not something I'm following. But I do like it. It's something quite a bit different. Big fiery tank. Won't spend too much time on this because we have gone through these before. TFC Toys, they have released their final member. So I've gone through this before because I've got the set and I nearly sold the 4 members that I already had. But yes, Hungar is finally being released. And it's, as I say, nothing that we haven't already seen. They're prototype images in all modes, and we even get a look at combined mode coming up. It's very good looking in all modes. I think this possibly would be my favourite individual figure, to a point that I'd even consider keeping them in their individual modes because I think they look quite good all together. It's a good set. It's a nice stylized set. They look vicious, but it also looks very good combined. And Abominus is there to be tackled. I think that is something that I will say is he's not been done much on the market. So the fact that we've actually got a not quite MP scale, but it's nice to get one nevertheless. As I say, we've seen a bit of this before. Next we have Craftsman Toys, and they showed, and we have again seen these, but are actually going to see colour images now. So this is a Legend Scale, almost stylized, not quite, but they're Computron. Now, these are up for pre-order on ShowZ, and we actually now have coloured images in it. And this, of course, is their nose cone, and I think they've done such a good job with this. I love the eyes as well. The blue used on the eyes, but the orange is to die for, that amber orange colour. It takes away from the brown, which is otherwise a very dead colour. But Chrono, well, he's brown as well, but nose cone actually looks really good. I've been quite tempted with this set. It's just, I'm not a Legend Scale collector, but it's nice to see Computron getting a go, and we might see a bit more of that as the slides go on. But this is Afterburner, looking a bit short in the back, has to be said. I think this is one thing you see with Afterburner. He's a very bikes. There's not much you can do with them, particularly with combiners. You've got to try and get 2 wheels, but they've got to be slender for a bike. They've got to be bigger for a robot, and they've then got to be an arm, possibly with a hand as well. It's a lot to ask of a awkward alt mode. He is alongside Scattershot. I do like that Scattershot, right size proportions for me. Could be tempted just to have him just stand alone. I think he's a good stocky character to have. He's bigger than the rest because he'll make up the torso, and I'm okay with that. There he is in alt mode, looking a bit more futuristic than, say, a pure G11. The wings are very pointed rather than... I wouldn't say a G1 Scattershot was as so aerodynamic. But it looks good, and we see the combine, at least upper chest. So I wonder, is that just a photo that's been cut off? Or is that all Scattershot turns into, like an upper torso? So where's a waist? Answers on a postcard. And we again seen some more images. That collection space. This was one out of left field. Star Queen, female Starscream. Female Transformers now are very popular, with MMC doing a lot of their releases around Galvatron, Tarn, and Armada Megatron. So someone else is having a go with a feminine Starscream, Star Queen, which great name, by the way. I think this looks brilliant. I didn't think I would say that, but I looked at it through the panels, and I think this looks fantastic. What an idea. I joked on the stream that this is what Windblade and Starscream would look like if they had a baby. And yeah, I stand by that. I think it's a prototype. It's a CAD drawing. It's not even in prototype form. It says rendering for illustration purposes only. So see how it comes out. But it stands pretty tall. I think I worked out that's going to be leader class height, give or take. So toe-to-toe with Hasbro Grimlock, which would obviously considerably more slender. And the backpack comes off, so you could have it even slender still. And you could put some parts of it on the leg. And that's what it looks like in alt mode. The alt mode doesn't look fabulous, I'll be honest. Which you'd think it lends itself to alt mode, being a much more slender frame. And the wings do interchange to have much more of a trigger-happy or Cyclonus inward wing futuristic jet. Not really aerodynamic, but cool nevertheless. Got some Battlestar Galactica vibes going on there. But I like it's something a bit different. And I'm all for that. I'm all for something a bit different rather than just another Starscream. Does look cool. Interchangeable hands, slightly sly face, sort of Japanese anime face on the go there, bottom right. I always get hexadecimal vibes, like gonna knife you in your sleep. And interchangeable weaponry, as you will get with Starscream as well. And a stand. So yeah, all praise to them. I've never heard of the company. Could be a brand new company, I believe it is. But it's a different idea. Make Toys, and guess what they're releasing? Yep, Seekers. We knew this. I think this was going to be an exclusive leading up to the convention. I think it's actually physically at TFCon as well. So this is what a purple Seeker would look like. Yep. I've had this mould. We've all had this mould. And they just keep milking it. Okay. They're probably feeling like they've got to do it. You know, it's money on the table. I get it. And the Seekers do allow them to do that. And yes, it was a good mould, I should say. But it was. The key word is was. It's been surpassed now, in my opinion. And I have no reason to go back and buy this mould again, much less in a colour scheme that I care less about than Starscream. So just let it die, Make Toys. Yeah, show us more. Now, I will say, I'll go into this a little bit more at the end, but there was some other images there, actual physical representation of Highbrow, which is actually coming up later in the slide, so I'll go through that with you in a minute. Iron Trans came up next with their... It's a statue, it's a non-transformable figure, but it is their Star Saber, and it's very highly posable. You can see the hip joints there used, and there's a lot here. This is going to be a big figure. It's going to be a very weighty figure. And also going into what I believe is their Victory Leo. Again, I could have that wrong because this goes into a part of Transformers that I didn't follow. I'm aware of this figure. I'm aware of it coming out before, but that's how it looks. Now, this is just an artist's illustration and what they hope to build. It's very armoured up, A lot going on here. Very Zoid-like, almost Kang Toys-like as well. And it goes into its own jet mode. Well, that's a very squash-looking jet. And there it's going to be all combined up, mostly on his feet, to stand, and with the wings, to stand 57 centimetres wide. Good God, that's big. I mean, Iron Trans don't do small figures, and Star Saber isn't a small figure on his own. There he is completely combined up, shoulders and all. That's going to be huge. If you're really into the Japanese continuity and Star Saber as a character, then go for it. Iron Trans do good work as I understand it. Again, it goes into a part of Transformers that I didn't follow, so this won't be for me. But it looks like Star Saber's going to be ready at least to be part of this set. Bingo Toys. This was quite interesting. The last time I heard of Bingo Toys was their Windblade some time ago. But what's going on here? We have a Computron. And I am told from the stream that this is masterpiece scale. An MP scale Computron at last. Typical. No Computron at all, and then two come along at once. This is what Afterburner looks like, and I think this looks brilliant. The dual front wheels, look at the eyes. And this doesn't look like CAD to me. This looks like an actual prototype image, which is brilliant. Here's Strafe. This could be design, could be CAD, just because of the shading. I'm not entirely sure. It's not massively clear. They look so good. They look so clean. Again, scattershot. Again, looking quite beefy. Much more slender with the eye visor. I'm not wild on the alt mode. Okay, it's maybe a bit more in keeping, but it really reminds me of like some... Oh, I've got to think of the name of it, but it's like some kind of like 70s or 80s sci-fi with a big circular dome. And it's like, I can't think of it, but I keep thinking of that kind of old ship floating in space. Very original series Star Trek, if you see what I mean. But hey, we got 3 figures shown already for a masterpiece scale Computron. I'm in for this, man. Just to say you can. You know, where do we think we're going to get that? Thank God. Yeah, just how they look again. Galileo is going to be what it's going to be called, as it's all combined up. And there they all are in their alt modes. Slightly different looking Strafe there. Doesn't have the front guns. Maybe they're detachable. But I'm so pleased, man. That's going to look so good. Yeah, they look really cool. Magic Square. We've seen this. I've actually got it over there. I've done a review on it. This is their MP scale combiner. They're more or less upscale from their Legend scale combiner team release. Brawl is already out. He's brilliant. You know, you don't need me to tell you, and if you watch my video on it, you'll know my views on it. The posability is something else on this. I haven't got it into that pose, so I'm going to give that a try. He's such a good figure. Now, apparently, this is a previous release of Shockwave through Magic Square. Maybe, I'm not entirely sure. It has been slightly altered so their Bruticus can hold it. I think that's what they said on the stream. I don't know that for sure, but I do know when we saw this image being released that Bruticus was holding a Shockwave, and I had just assumed that Magic Square had already released a Shockwave and he just happened to be holding him. But yeah, there is Shockwave. In case it hasn't already been released and this is the first time you've seen him, that's how he looks. He looks fine. I don't necessarily need him. Swindle, on the other hand, I do need. I think this looks so good. I think this looks better than Brawl. It looks so clean. Everything about it is clean. I think they've just done such a good job. Okay, maybe there's not too much kibble hanging off here. Maybe it fairly folds away and he's quite rectangular in his style, but everything just looks... There's hardly any panel lines on that. They've done such a good job. I keep seeing the Brum feature on the face. Oh man, I'm never going to live that down. But yeah, and there it is in leg mode. I've already paid my rest of payment with Shozi on that one, so that's making its way to me imminently. I will be doing a review on that, of course. But I'm really cool to see these two. That's nice. It's a nice set. Okay, possibly stealing the show here. Zeta. Yes, it is Zeta. What are we calling him now? Moon Studio, Studio Cell, Studio something. Let's call him Moon Studio for the sake of it. So this has been a while, and I don't think we've seen them coloured up, but they're in the Devastator Wars as well. And if you've had anything of their big scale combiners, you know this is proper MP scale. This is Scrapper. Not looking fabulous was my first thought. It looks okay. It's very slender. That was my first thought, and I thought, you're going to be a leg. And recently holding the Fans Toys scrapper, I thought, I don't know, you worry me a little bit for weight, because that Fans Toys scrapper certainly is built to take a lot of heavy weight. I'm expecting considerably less die cast, I know, I get it. But I look at it and I think you're very slender to be a leg of a 6-bot set. I also don't think the head sculpt looks fabulous. I don't think it looks awful. I've seen worse. Very articulate, nice ankle poses, ab crunch, all very nice for a leg bot. I do not like that alt mode. I think that just looks... I take it all back for what I said about Fans Toys around their Gary. I think the scooper looks good, but the back of it is just rectangle. It's like they didn't even try. Yeah, it doesn't look fabulous, but it looks very detailed, very sketched. It's not just solid square, which is one thing you could say about Fans Toys. So there's stuff going on, maybe. But that's how it looks. Now, we have also got image of their long haul. This is a big boy. And I get it, okay? Long haul probably should be bigger. He can't stand toe-to-toe with the rest of them for his alt mode and for the job he does in combined mode. But man, this is big. The only thing is that I've noticed it now, I'm seeing these images a bit closer. Look at the back of his legs. Now, you'll see when it gets to alt mode, he's got 6 wheels for the rear of him. So he's an 8-wheel truck. There's 2 wheels there. There's a lot to house in the legs there. And I think transformation is going to be an absolute pain. But you've got to put away 2 wheels on one side and then fold away another for him to stand on one leg and do it all together on the next one. Not to mention what you have to do with the chest. So that could be quite busy. But look, despite having all of that weight and bulk, he can do an almost splits on the go. Nice standing. So it shows what you can do with the set. It's nice to see another one. Nice bit of posability as well. And here he is in said alt mode. This isn't the best image, but you can see 8 wheels going on. When you get the more top-down image, you see how thick that is. Oh yeah, I think it looks good. I like the Cybertronian vibe. And also, as I've said before, I'm not the biggest fan of the pale green used from G1. I don't think it's an attractive colour green. I think this is a much better looking green. It's a deeper green, richer one. And plus that purple looks quite reflective as well. So I don't want to say I could be tempted, but I don't hate it. I want to see a bit more of it as time goes on. And that's how it looks combined up with obviously 2 scrappers on the go. But I'm back to it. I feel the legs look a bit thin. Looking at it here, even more so, I feel long haul's doing most of the work. And even here, look, great, you can do that posability. There's a bit of an ugly knee gap there with the bend. They could have done with something hinging out. But look at that chasm in between the heels, and it has to have an adjoining piece. I get that, I understand. Yeah, I feel that looks a bit too slender to be the leg, personally. I feel that could be shaped up a bit more to be of a similar thickness to the thigh and long haul together. Otherwise it just looks a bit disjointed. But it's Zeta. They do big combiners. They do big bots. They do them well. So maybe I shouldn't be so dismissive. This is what's coming up. Hook is going to be next. I did like this one, and Mixmaster as well, if we're going to do 2 in one hit. This seems to be a thing now. Rather than releasing 6, doing 2 each time, which I'm okay with. Very small mixer for Mixmaster. And 8 wheels as well. And then, of course, we have Quarry, going to be their scavenger. And then Bone Crusher. That is a terrible looking... That's just terrible all around. I was going to say it's a terrible alt mode, but a bot mode doesn't look better. He's just 90% leg. Ugh, that doesn't look fabulous. But I won't criticise. It's only a drawing. It's only CAD. Wait till we actually get a prototype. But this is what it's going to look like. It's stocky. Okay, we're in the Devastator Wars. We've got another Devastator, Desolator, as it's known this time. But I feel long haul is the standout feature there. And the biggest thing that's going to be selling this figure is its size. It's the fact it's going to scale with their Superion and Bruticus, Zetas. Yeah, fine. But I feel everything else looks a bit slender by comparison. Looking at the Bone Crusher as well in alt mode, didn't look like the alt mode from before. Give it time, it's early days, but that's the first we've seen of Moon Studio, Studio Cell, Zeta's Devastator. This was a bit out of a left field one as well. Volcanicus. Now, I might change my mind as I see some of the images here, but this is their Dino Combiner. This is their Swoop. This is looking like Cyberverse, maybe? I was thinking, or was it more within, or was it IDW? I was looking at this during the slides and I kept changing my mind. I think Snarl looks really good. That is very kind of War for Cybertron. Is it Fans Project who did a very Cybertronian style? Not really G1. I like how it looks. I really do. Very spiky. Do not think that sludge looks great. And that looks very like the Fans Project. Or is it Planet? Is it Planet X? Oh, I have to really brush up on them. I think it is Fans Project because I saw that set earlier today. I do not think that Alt Rose looks great. I think the legs really let him down. The bot mode, on the other hand, does look good. Very stocky, very muscly, as is the character. So I'm cool with that. I do think that Slag looks good. Slag, sorry. Old habits. And I love the shoulder spikes in it. And this is where I feel he's very IDW, just those red horns on the back of the head. I'm going to keep changing my mind. Well, no Grimlock shown, but there was this Broadside, Broadcon. This got a big cheer, and man, am I on board for this one. Finally, a Broadside. This is obviously early days, and he has his axe, and this is one of the 2 copies you can get of it. I say one of the 2 copies you can get, but of course anyone from G1 would know there is 2 versions of Broadside, one with a red face and completely different build, and this is a bit more of a recognisable one. Turns into an aircraft carrier, and not a very good jet. It was a bit of a silly idea, but hey, you're not going to store it in this mode, are you? But he stands 34 centimetres, which is about 13 inches tall, and I'm okay with that. Now, okay, that won't be up to like Fans Toys Masterpiece scale, because they'll do sort of the high 9-inch figures, and maybe this is more for your Chug or your Chug Plus figures, the MMC types maybe. But hey, we're not flush for broadsides, are we? So thank God we got them. Computron in MP scales and broadside. Man, we're lucky. But look at this. Look at this. War for Cybertron. Metroplex. He heeds the call of the last prime. Man, does that look good. And he is Titan class. Ish. Okay, so he's going to be Titan class, I think, because he's the same height as their Primus, who was the same as their Unicron, which if I remember rightly, is maybe Earthrise Scorponok height. I think. It's very misleading as well with his massive shoulder sacks. That's got to be a buy, man. You've got to buy that. That looks so good. It's so accentuated, though. Look at his gun. Look at it, the legs. Look at the hands. Man, that looks brilliant. I didn't expect this whatsoever. That looks so good. X-Transbots did grace us with their presence. And we saw a long video of their Misfire that's coming out. I've got this on pre-order. There's 2 versions, and that was really it. It was just a video of it being handled. So we know what they're working on. We know they like to do stuff a bit separately now, and that their scrapper for their Devastator is being released soon-ish, because they have shown us some box art at least. Fantastic model, aka Fans Toys. What's up, Duck? Wow. This is strong. This is a very strong visit. We actually have a very G1 looking and very near done, very finished Ratchet, with all kind of head sculpts on the go and helmet colouring depending for cartoon or for comics. I think this looks brilliant. And there he is with Ironhide. Getting the both of them now, and you'll see a bit more. I don't feel the chest plate looks fabulous. I think it's a bit of a squashed TV screen maybe. But if that's all I can say about it, I think everything else looks spot on. The alt mode looks good. I love that kind of reflected clear plastic. There's like a sheen on it as well. Opening doors. I think they've done a really good job with that. But look at like the gubbins back here, man. That's so near done, and that's going to house nice die-cast features. You can see like almost marbling on the paint. That looks so good. It's captured that toon accuracy on the face. And look how clean that is at the back, considering it turns into a Nissan van. They've done a brilliant job. And I said for a long time, I've got the Takara ones. Why would I need anything else? I don't feel the need to change, but now I might. And all the accessories that it comes with as well, various guns and different heads and all the rest of it. And there he is working on Ironhide. Ironhide, Warhorse, being released as well. Just the same, different colour. I do like that gun accessory though. That's quite cool. That's quite cool actually. I do like that. Missing head if you want to go to toy mode, I suppose. Yes, you can. Gives all the options there, and there he is in all mode as well. I've never been the biggest fan of Ironhide, if I'm honest. I think he's a good character, but as a toy, as a action figure, I don't think he offers a lot. But I think Fans Toys deserve a lot of credit. They've done a really good job here. Again, these are so close to being released. So if you got these on pre-order, expect to get them soon. Nice articulation, nice posability, nice accessories. Only question remains is the price. And now, Fans Toys, properly. Their third Constructicon. So this is Hook. Doesn't look as far down the line as I thought it might be. But we don't even have a name for it on this one. The feet look very prototypey, if you see what I mean. It looks early in development, which I'm a little surprised at. I know they're right. Their next one coming out, Scavenger, is going to be imminently coming out. So, okay, they've got time. But I thought we'd have seen this a bit further along. Like the interchangeable head there, the shouty head. Nice bit of character to it. Another one with a smiley face. And yeah, it's very toon accurate in that sense. There he is with a crane, which maybe will come with a piece of string to actually be a winch. That would be cool. And we get a look at what the head's going to look like. And that is no surprise, really. I will say, though, I think this looks quite unsightly at the bottom here. This is obviously going to be housed within, and I can imagine their long haul, when they get round to it, is going to swallow a lot of these gubbins up. But the fact it kind of just hangs. Yeah, just, I don't know. Doesn't look clean, but then you're never going to see it. I suppose it's going to be housed within. Just surprised to see that. And that's how he looks alongside Gary. It's already released there, Scrapper. Looks good. These are very big boys. Take it from me. Another thing out of left field. A reissue of Sovereign before X-Transbots even got round to theirs. Did this need a 2.0? Did this need a redesign? I don't think so. And I've got two of them, so I ain't going to sell them now. So yeah, a reissue of Galvatron. Why? Why did they feel the need to do it? I suppose I'm excited. It looks very, from this image at least, it looks very rounded, therefore more toon accurate. But I don't think it needed it, man. I really don't. I think it looked fine. It comes with a lot more face sculpts and head sculpts and much more toon accuracy. But again, I've got two of them. I've got the cartoon colours and I've got purple for season 3, and it's fine. It's fine. It's not something I flip back in alt mode a lot, but it's fine. And I just feel, yeah, it's just a bit of an unnecessary change. But it looks more toon. It looks more rounded. It doesn't look so heavy on the back. I will say the Sovereign one, their first release, their big tyre tracks on the back of his arms are a little bit unsightly, and this looks cleaner. And there it is with a mock-up colour scheme. The turret does look a little stumpy, but yeah, I just didn't feel they needed to do it. I'm intrigued. I do like all of those head sculpts. Pretty much every one of them is crazy apart from the last two. He's just not happy, unless for this one or that one. Yeah, I mean, great. Was that high on your agenda, Fans Toys? Among everything else? Fans Hobby to the rescue. I think we've seen a lot of this stuff, so this is their Nemesis Energon. It's I think it's physically there. It was a con exclusive. Obsidian Commander, which looks lovely. Again, it's a con exclusive. It's something that they do like to do. They like to do colour reissues of what they've already thrown out. And we saw this in the lead up to the convention anyway. And there it is alongside the more common release. I don't think there was anything more from Fans Hobby. Nothing more. They did have their tidal wave there. We got more of their the Shield team and the Requiem Blaster and the Star Saber, which again have either been released or pending release. So we've seen a lot of this stuff already. And there it is being wielded by their Meg Tyranno. And there is this Wing Saber, I believe, the one that splits in half. It's just a big bulky toy. But that's what the old toy did, so that's what it does now. And there it is all combined up with their Prime. MMC. Again, I feel like we see a lot of this, and this was shown a bit as well. Senator Ratbat turning into a cassette. Now, I was a little bit disappointed by this because they do have their big Ratbat on sale. On pre-order, I should say. So you got like their Ocular Max cassettes, like I've got their Ravage and I've got Furor and Riot, the Frenzy and Rumble. And so an actual bat of Ratbat is going to be coming out. And so when we saw the purple cassette, we thought that's what it was. But this is Senator Ratbat. Yeah. Did we need it? It was physically there. Someone put a little purple cape over it. Fine if you're a completionist, but not the Ratbat I'm after. And again, we've seen this, and this was physically there. And it's also the first time we've seen it about as fully combined as we have been, with even blades being on there in colour, but their groove, their Insertus, being very close to being done now. It's been done for a while. They just need to get on and shipping it now, really. I don't know what's taken so long. Heard a rumour it's coming out in October, but that's come and gone. And again, a convention exclusive of their Ruination. I think it's convention exclusive, but Ruination Chops. Vortex being recoloured. Like the head sculpt, that's quite cool. I don't have a particular connection to it. Again, this was shown, and I'll try and show you some clips in a minute, but their Bone Crusher from MMC for their Devastator. Interfector, that's a bit of a name. It was physically there in this kind of grayscale prototype. Very stumpy, I thought, but I like the sort of tyre treads. I think that looks quite cool. And he looks pretty good in alt mode, in robot mode. He certainly looks better than the Hasbro one coming up. Actually looks like Bone Crusher, and that's how it looks all combined. But a prototype was physically there. I'll show you that in a second. But it does look really, really cool. There is one thing I'll get to first. So it says all built-in combiner forearm and hands built into the figure, because that is, as it says, all built in. That is part of their gimmick. Combiner colour change gimmick. What do you mean by that, MMC? What do you mean by that? Rolling treads. Oh man, that's my jam. That is what I need to see. And then we have their drift, which was also there. This has been shown before. What I did say when I saw this, I think it was July, the previous TFCon, is they had two paint schemes on the go, and it was like an alteration. So it's Infinity 02, and then there's Infinity 02A. That's something I didn't mention last time. I'm not wild on the alt mode, but I do think the robot mode looks quite cool. Very drift-like, if you know what I mean. And there's a lot like that head sculpt. Very nice. So that is that. Let me show you these earlier images. So Fans Hobby did have their tidal wave there, and that's about as good as we have seen it. By the way, a lot of these were taken from the likes of TM Reviews and other people out there, and I think the images are watermarked, but just credit to them. I obviously wasn't there. They're not my photos, just what appeared on Facebook. Do like the paint scheme. I've got the Hasbro one now, and I do wonder which is going to be better, because I think this guy looks really slender by comparison, but he stands tall. Right, let's talk about Grand Main, whatever, their highbrow. It was physically there, and what everyone has said is no, it does not look any different to last time. No, it doesn't. You're quite right. The only thing I'd say is this is an image, and keep it in your mind, this was from last TFCon, I believe. It's not from this time anyway. Now, the first difference that comes to my mind is when you see the next image in a second, the cockpit in alt mode is solid now, and it's translucent plastic here. Perhaps that's a change. Perhaps it's going to be a solid painted image, and the clear plastic isn't going to be there. Other than that, there's very small changes. Like, I've been looking a bit here and there, and maybe the vents are a little different, but I think the legs are much the same. I think the solid crotch piece here, I think there's a divide on a normal one, but I'm looking and it looks much the same. As I say, there's this solid bit for the cockpit, which was clear on the image you just saw. This is disappointing though. We've waited so long to get this figure. They finally put it out. There's hype drawn for it. And nearly 6 months has gone by and you've shown the same prototype again. Slap some paint on it. paint it at least partially blue. Show that you are progressing it. Don't just put the same thing out again, because it feels like you're just dangling the carrot. You're no better than, well, with your Seekers, so I'm not surprised. This is a chug scale Optimus. This was physically there. I did, what's it? Hengo Kin Forever. That's the name of it, if I pronounce that right. Again, TM Reviews photo. But a chug scale Optimus Prime with Megatron's cannon, such as Skybound. I love that that's a thing now. Looks really cool, really detailed. Very clean from the back as well. And there it is in alt mode. I do not like those feet sticking out the back. And if I've downloaded the back shot, maybe I haven't, the feet, yeah, you can just see them there. There's nowhere for the feet to fold down because I thought it might be mistransformed, but it looks like they are just sticking up, which is a bit of a shame. Plus his cannon being a vent stack. Yeah, clever. I like it. I do like the fact it comes with the cannon. And here's blades of MMC. As I say, this is the closest this has looked to completion. It's good. I do like it. I'm excited to get it. I still say those feet are too small. And that's about as much as we've seen of blades to point. He's getting there. Just needs his eyes painted and he's more or less done. There is the Bone Crusher with, as it might say, movable treads. So that's a big thing for me. He's a bit small, but MMC are a bit on the smaller side. Nice to actually see him there. There is Stray again. It was physically at the convention. As well was this prototype of MMC's Devastator. You can tell this is quite a prototype. I mean, look at the almost wooden-like aspect here, but I like the hands. They've been there with the pins ready to go in. It's very cool that they brought it along and they actually took the time to paint it. They didn't have to do that. Many places wouldn't. It looks quite sizable. If you got their Bruticus from before, that's going to look a lot different. So yeah, that's something. I'm pleased they brought that along. There's the Ratbat. There's Ratbat with a cape and with a box. And there's Ruination. We saw him as well. And okay, that's it. That's everything I've got to show you. Thanks for sticking around. Sorry again for the cold. Big thank you to TM Reviews and anyone else who was streaming the panel to the likes of myself across the pond. It was very good to see some of the reveals. I do think Zeta, Moon Studios, Studio Cell, stole the day there. I think there were some good offerings being thrown out, particularly from Fans Toys, stuff to talk about. And Bingo Toys with an MP scale Computron. Man, there's stuff to get your teeth into. But yeah, there's some stuff there. I think that's going to look really, really cool. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and hit that subscribe button because I will see you on the next one.